Despite having the back-to-back MVP of the league and being 6 games up on the number 2 seed in the West, Denver doesn't really seem to command the respect of casuals or analysts. Before we jump into that though, please be sure to like and subscribe, as both would make massive differences. To be full frontal with those of you that don't know, I do have the Phoenix Suns as the best team in the West, but that's by a very narrow margin. I think Denver is right up there with them, and then I think there's kind of a drop off after them. I really don't think it's disrespectful to have hesitancy with Denver's ability to be a top 3 player, maybe, in Kevin Durant and then Devin Booker as well. I do, however, take offense to people acting like there's no sense of hierarchy in the West, though, and I think it's just an exaggeration of sorts, because I do think, say, the Clippers, they would be my third team in the West. I think they're very good, and I see a world in which they come out of the West. I don't feel as comfortable with the top of the Clippers as I do the top of the Nuggets, because for the Nuggets, the band is back together, as they say, and though you're still maybe hoping for Murray to take an increased role in scoring at some point, you're not hating where he is right now, especially compared to where he was earlier in this year, where he looked like he might be an actual issue for them. He's looking like, I would say, at least 90% of what he was pre-injury, so you're really liking what you have in him. I should have started with him, but of course there's Jokic as well, who is my bet for MVP. If I would vote for anyone, I would vote for him. That's not to say that there's not a handful of other guys that also deserve to be MVP this year, but I would just feel safest with Jokic. The more I think about it, the more I actually think Aaron Gordon is their second best player. So they have a nice competition for their Robin, really, as there's also Michael Porter Jr., who you could make an argument for. I don't think he's quite as good as we were hoping for after his, I believe, his 2020 season, but he's still an efficient bucket that is at least tall on defense. He might not be much of a defender still, but he is switchable for sure. The moral of the story is Denver is deep in the way that you want to be in the playoffs, meaning they have a lot of guys that can play, but also they're really good for 4 guys deep. And most teams will have sort of a big 2 and then a third guy, but no, they have any number of number 2s. And then in addition to that, they have Bruce Brown as well, who barely gets mentioned, but is a great defender, honestly one of the best in the entire NBA. Just so switchable and a good shooter too. So they have support on top of support for Jokic, which you don't really need a whole lot for Jokic to be great, so that's incredible to have. Those are my thoughts on the Denver Nuggets. Let me know what yours are, and also please be sure to like and subscribe.